Hello, everybody, and welcome to this space where we will talk about the complex world of language education through the experiences of an expert on the subject and also a native speaker and two non-native English teachers. I'm John Betancourt, and today I'll embark on a deep dive into the transformative journey of becoming bilingual within the EFL Classroom, alongside the inspiring personal narrative of embracing teaching English as a non-native speaker. My reflection centers around the insightful article Becoming Bilingual in the EFL Classroom by Bob Moore and the compelling video Becoming a Non-Native English Teacher, My Personal Story by Agnieszka Murdoch. These resources offer profound insights into the challenges, triumphs, and evolving perspective encountered by language teachers on their path to linguistic proficiency and pedagogical excellence. Reading Paul Moore's ideas about translanguaging and how they relate to teaching English as a foreign language has been really interesting. Moore talks about how there is a debate in the EFL community about whether learning should focus on sounding like a native speaker. So they say this idea has become problematic. One more thing Moore talks about is that the idea of native speaker being the best at a language isn't true anymore. People are realizing that being good at a language doesn't always mean sounding like someone who grew up speaking it. This idea of being native ignores the fact that many people speak more than one language, and it doesn't fit well in a world where languages mix a lot. Moore makes a good point that thinking there is only one native language speaker is a problem because it ignores the importance of people who speak more than one language. The idea of translanguaging is pretty cool because it shows how languages aren't separate things. They are all connected and can flow into each other. This approach says that it's okay to use all the languages you know instead of sticking to just one. As a language teacher and learner, I've seen this firsthand. Sometimes I find myself using different languages depending on who I'm talking or what I'm talking about. Moore talks about a language course that uses translanguaging where students can use multiple languages. This approach shows that aiming to be like a native speaker isn't the only goal anymore. Instead, the focus is on being good at communication in different languages. This change can make learning languages more welcoming for everyone. Moore's article reminds us to rethink how we teach languages and to include the idea of using multiple languages. It inspires me to keep looking for new ways to teach languages that make everyone feel included and that reflect real-life language use. On the other hand, learning about bilingualism in the EFL Classroom using Cook's multi-competence model, as it was referenced by Moore, has been interesting. Cook's model challenges the idea that sounding like a native speaker is the main goal of learning a foreign language. Instead, he suggests that we should appreciate the complexity of being bilingual. One thing Moore cited from Cook's model is how he talks about L2 users, people who speak two languages. This term shows a move away from focusing only on people who speak one language, and it highlights the special abilities of bilingual people. By using this term, Cooks emphasizes that bilingual people are different from people who only speak one language, and it shows how amazing it is to have a mind that can use more than one language well. It's interesting to think about people who speak two languages, like L2 users have a different way to think compared to those who only speak one language. Then Cook says that these differences show how complex bilingual thinking is compared to thinking in just one language. I've noticed these myself as I learned languages. Switching from one language to the other requires being flexible and aware, which helps me understand language and communication better. Thinking about Cook's ideas reminds me how important it is to see language learning from a bilingual perspective. If we understand and respect how people use multiple languages, we can make learning more interesting and helpful for everyone. I'm excited about this model, and I would like to use it in my teaching to celebrate different languages and make learning more inclusive. What really impressed me is the idea of translanguaging, because it suggests that bilingual people don't just switch between languages, they use all their languages together to communicate. This changes how we see bilingual people, showing how flexible and connected the languages can be. And it makes me think of how language culture and how we are all mixed up together. It is not just about talking, it's about how we live and express ourselves. So I think that translanguaging in schools could make a big difference on the way we learn. In my conclusion for the article, I would like to clarify that I am not against having native speakers in classroom, but what I think that being native doesn't mean that you have the proficiency to teach a language. And translanguaging is a new way, a new door that is open for teachers who are teaching not only English but mixing and finding in their classroom several languages and looking for a way to communicate with their students and understand their cultures. Now I'm going to bring to the table Agnieszka Murdoch's video, another non-native English teacher whose story shows the determination and love for teaching that many language teachers share. As non-native English teacher, Agnieszka Murdoch's story really impressed me because from being told she couldn't teach English because she wasn't a native speaker to now confidently teach and share her experiences with students, it's truly inspiring. It gives me hope because over the past year I faced similar situations, challenges while trying to find a job as an English teacher in different academias in Seville. If I've been turned down because I'm not a native speaker of English, and even worse because I'm not Spanish either. Like Agnieszka, I faced doubts and challenges in my career. I've doubted about myself, my experience in teaching, my English level, my capabilities, and so on. So many people, more in Spain than in Colombia, wrongly think that only native speakers can teach English well, which can be discouraging for non-native teachers like me. But Agnieszka's story shows me that being good at language isn't just about being a native speaker. It is about working hard, never giving up, and truly loving teaching and learning. So what stands out to me is Agnieszka's determination to prove that being non-native English teacher doesn't make her less effective. She cares about her students and understands their struggles because she's been there herself. I admire her dedication and empathy, and I want to be like that in my teaching too. Agnieszka's story shows me how important diversity in teaching is, and especially when it comes to languages. A non-native English teacher can have unique experiences and perspectives that can help students a lot. By embracing identity and all its shapes, teachers and learners can create a welcoming classroom where everyone feels valued and motivated to learn.